Hi there, welcome to Tarotland Soap Opera. Today I'm going to do a reading for Sagittarius energy. And like usual, we're going to do two rows. The top row I'll refer to as high vibe Sagittarius energy. The bottom row, a more worldly, shadowy Sagittarius. We've all got free will. We have to make decisions in our life. And in our more high vibe nature, we might want to make decisions having more hope and faith and belief in ourselves and in love and in our dreams. But in our more worldly nature, our fear and our insecurity and our pride and our ego and things like that, and wanting to stay in our comfort zone, are all things that can kind of influence us to make us keep living life the way we've been living it and not kind of pursue our dreams. And high vibe Sagittarius is looking at life like an adventure to be lived. And so some people could be struggling within themselves trying to make a decision. Other people have already moved on in life differently. They made the decision. Some people decided, nope, I'm going to keep living my life the way I've been living it. And some people had decided to move forward in life differently. And then when we move forward in life differently, we heal, we grow, we mature, something changes. Or we're just more deciding to take a leap of faith. Sometimes there's other people in our life, they can live their life the way they've been living it, and they can be happy for us, to each our own. Other people might not like it, because why are you being more bold and brave and confident, or healing, or looking at life differently? Because we all have these different people in our life. We can have people in our life who like us being more in our shadowy energy, because then we stay at those jobs, in that friendship, in that relationship. And we can have other people in our life that are loving and encouraging and supportive, that want us to live our more authentic life. And so sometimes people that are in a more worldly, shadowy energy want us to stay in those jobs, friendships, or relationships. And sometimes that's when you can see their shadow nature come out, that they might try to manipulate you or control you. So let's go look at the bottom row first. We have the Six of Cups, which the Six of Cups does kind of talk about the past. And we can have people in our life that we have deep emotional connections with, because the Six of Cups is Scorpio energy, which does talk about those deep emotional connections. But we also have a deep emotional connection to wanting to repeat a same pattern, because in order to move forward in our life, we have to face our fears, and we kind of like to stay in our comfort zone. Some of you could be dealing with a Scorpio, but otherwise that's just what Scorpio energy can talk about. And it can talk about repeating a pattern of the past. So we have the Queen of Pentacles, the Nine of Cups, the Queen of Wands, the Lovers, and the Ten of Wands. So the way I read tarot is the feminine figures can talk about how we think and feel. The masculine energies can talk about how we're presenting ourselves in the world and the action that we're taking in the world. In the Queen of Pentacles, that can represent like a job, or people we're in relationship with, or that we, friends and family members, being a parent to other people, investing in other people. But it can also represent that some people could have been in a relationship with someone they wanted to marry, or they did marry. And then we have the Nine of Cups. We could have invested in something. The Nine of Cups is, we had a dream. We thought something would be emotionally fulfilling. And then we have the Queen of Wands, which can, in shadow, because we're kind of in the worldly, shadowy row, we could have gotten in relationships with people who emotionally maybe align more with their more worldly nature of ego, and they could be more about themselves, or kind of manipulative in a relationship, or have more shadowy traits and characteristics, bossy, controlling, prideful, egotistical, something. And we can have love for people, but the Ten of Wands can talk about, we could have even been more aligned with our worldly nature. The Pentacles is more the worldly nature. And we could have been indulging more, from being more caught up in our worldly nature and inspired more by the world and ego and indulgence and the things that we were sure were going to make us happy. And we love those things, look at every different stage of life, that we've lived, and we were living life and we were invested in it and we thought it was going to make us happy and we were inspired by it and we loved it. But then as time goes by, the Ten of Wands is kind of like, which the Ten of Wands is Sagittarius energy. During the course of living our life at a phase of life, we kind of learned all the lessons we were meant to learn. And that's why we kind of get to realizing that if we keep trying to repeat the same pattern over and over, it's kind of starting to feel overwhelming, because our more loving nature is trying to tell us that it's time to move on and face our fears to go to the next phase of life. But sometimes we're like, no, 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 I want to keep doing this. So we keep doing life the way we've been doing it, hanging out, maybe at the same job, same friendships, same romantic relationships. And it just starts to feel overwhelming, because there is nothing new to learn there. We are repeating an old pattern. And it's kind of like our high vibe Sagittarius energy of the Ten of Wands is like, we've learned everything we needed to learn here. We can drop the burden and have that brand new inspired beginning, come out with the Ace of Wands, but we can have our fear of moving forward. It's like, no, 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 I'm just going to keep doing this. I'm going to keep at this job. I'm going to stay in this friendship. I'm going to stay in this romantic relationship, have this way of making my life maybe more about me, my being in my ego, which is my defensive nature. Then I don't have to do life any differently. I can keep doing this, but it's overwhelming, because partly we could know that the reason I'm not moving forward is because I have this fear of change. I have fear of stepping outside my comfort zone. I could be in relationships with other people. I could have a certain job. I could want to marry someone. I could be married to someone. And there could be a part of us that would like to be harnessing high vibe Nine of Cups, which is being more emotionally independent. And there's a lot of things we can like about certain situations in our life, but are we able to be more independent? Because high vibe energy is about being more independent. Or are we in jobs, friendships, and relationships with people that we can love, but we feel like maybe if they're in their ego or their defensive nature, they don't really want to do love, and we want to do love and move forward. And it's like the Queen of Wands, which can be like our own ego can block us and our fear, but then we can be in relationships with other people who are like being a blockage to us, that don't maybe want us to really love ourselves and be inspired to be more independent. If we reconcile ourselves with issues from our past, we take this Sagittarius energy, being motivated and inspired to reconcile myself with some issues from my past so I can be free of them, so they don't overwhelm me anymore and keep me in my lack mentality, my fear, my self-limiting beliefs. I could reconcile myself with the past and I could move forward in life differently. Well, if we're in relationships with some people but they haven't reconciled themselves with some issues of their past, when we initially get in the relationship with them, we all could have some of these issues from our past that stop us from loving ourselves and being inspired to look at life as an adventure. And so we're all repeating a certain pattern and a way of living life and viewing life. If during the course of that life situation, relationship, whatever it is, you do this work within yourself, we could have been aligned with more with our worldly nature, but then we kind of become independent of our more worldly nature. We learn to offer ourselves love and compassion and forgiveness to harness a more high vibrational Queen of Wands energy emotionally, where we have more hope and faith and belief in ourselves. Both the Queen of Wands and the Ten of Wands, Leo and Sagittarius, are fire sign energy, but we all grow up in the world more pentacly oriented, and we kind of grow up being told that if we do these certain things, we'll be happy, and we should make our life about these things and invest in these things. It'll make us happy. But then we can do that, and then we could kind of find it overwhelming. And that's when we kind of become more independent of our more worldly view of life, and we become more inspired to align with hope and faith and belief and love. And we start to feel overwhelmed, making our life more about these things of the world, and we're kind of more inspired to just not make our life about those things so much anymore. And that, in order to go through that whole process, it is this process of kind of becoming more independent, loving ourselves, being inspired to love ourselves, to be in an energy of love, work through issues from our past so that we can move forward and close out a way of living life, viewing ourselves, viewing others, what we believe is possible, to go on this new adventure. And sometimes in workplaces, friendships, and relationships, some people do that, work within themselves, and they're ready to move forward in life differently. They're trying to offer love and encouragement to the people in their life to move forward with them in that way. And some of those people are really overwhelmed because they haven't reconciled themselves with some issues from their past that still kind of maybe limit how what they believe is possible. And so some people are trying to move forward with people to keep things going, partly maybe because some of them don't want to change and they want things to stay the same. But with some people in our life, they do this work with them, and together we are all willing to put in that work to move forward in life differently. The truth sets us free. We have to be illuminated to some truth. And the Queen of Wands, that I view as Leo energy, is also represented by the sun. If everyone is willing to offer love and compassion and forgiveness to issues of their past, to love their more worldly nature, to offer them self-love, then together from a place of love, we all move forward. But there's always going to be some people in our life that are like, they're kind of over here looking at people who are more inspired to move forward in love, and they're like, no, I'm still not ready to do that. There might be things I like to indulge in the world, and I would maybe have to give those things up to move forward in that way, view life differently. I think there's other people I could be in a relationship with that and we all like to hang out with people who view life the way we do. And some people are like, I'm not ready for that yet. You go ahead and you go live your life like that, but I'm not ready. And again, kind of in our ego nature, are we more motivated and inspired by love, or are we more motivated to be indulged or make our life about indulging things in the world, or looking to other people to be the answer where we don't have to learn to love ourselves? And that could be more codependent energy. I'm sure if I get in a relationship with someone, I'll be happy. Well, how many times are you going to repeat that pattern, looking to other people to be the answer to you to love yourself and believe in yourself and move forward? The answer lies within ourselves. I need to learn to love me. Then I will be able to move forward in life, because if I'm codependent on other people being the answer, it's like people looking to drugs or alcohol to be the answer. I'm sure if I drink enough of this, eat enough of that, that'll be the answer. That's the answer. Some people are still looking for other people to love them so that then they can move forward. It's like, well, that would make you codependent on other people to be your answer. You hold the answer within yourself. I need to invest time, energy, and effort to become independent of the past. From the Six of Cups to the Nine of Cups, let go of that Three of Cups foundation that I used to operate from, and be bold and brave and confident within myself, and align with my own more hopeful, believing nature, and love myself. That is the answer. Then I can move forward in life. And it takes a lot of work and effort, and that's why some other people don't do it. They could start to put in work and effort to become more independent, but then their ego and their fear and their insecurities and their more codependent nature could make them keep repeating an old pattern. They could have people in their life. Maybe if they are in a relationship or married, they might not move forward with certain people because maybe the people that they're in a relationship with or married to, that's their primary relationship. Well, they need to work through that one, right? You might just be a friend. They might like to move forward with you and still be in a relationship with you. But if people in their life don't want them to, that their primary focus should be them, for other people, their primary focus is like a group, a friend group, original family group. And if those people don't move forward more aligned and inspired by love and looking at life differently, then they're not going to look at life differently. But they could everybody has to make the free will choice. Am I more aligned with my worldly nature or my hopeful, believing, loving nature? You get in relationships and you kind of, during the course of the relationship, realize, Scorpio energy, also emotional water sign energy. Some people do prefer to live a more emotionally shallow, superficial life, or they are more self-indulgent in their ego, or defensive, or prideful, or egotistical, or materialistic. And that's how they view life, and that's the kind of people they want to be in relationship with. But we can get in these mismatched relationships where we harness our fire sign, Sagittarius and Leo energy differently. And some people do, high vibe Scorpio, want deep, meaningful relationships based on love. And some people are like, I'm not doing love. I'd get hurt if I did love. I wouldn't be able to operate from my defensive, egoic, self-protective nature. I'd have to reconcile myself with these issues of the past that make me not do love authentically. I'll use my emotions and my sexuality and my resources to create the illusion that I do love, but I don't really authentically, emotionally invest myself in people. I stay kind of more operating from my defensive, egoic nature. And that's how some people want to keep living their life. And when they get in relationships with people who are more motivated and inspired by love, the loving people can feel overwhelmed because they're the ones putting all the work and effort to try to bring this dream into reality. And it's supposed to be authentic and loving and inspiring, and other people are kind of defensive and manipulative. And at what time do we realize that I'm putting all the work and effort in to making this relationship be more just and fair and balanced and loving and inspiring? The other person is kind of investing in indulging in it. So long as I don't leave, it works for them. And there could be some people right now, just like some of you, ended up feeling overwhelmed in it. And it's like, when are we ever going to have a more deep, meaningful relationship of my dreams? Because I keep feeling left out. I feel like I have mental conflict. I want this relationship to move forward because I could love you, I could be attracted to you, I like this job, whatever. Is the dream ever going to come into reality? And then the Five of Swords can be when we reflect on the truth, that we just see our truth is different. One person doesn't want, in the Ace of Wands, to have a new beginning, do life any differently. No, let's keep moving forward just like this. And the other person's like, why aren't we dropping the burden and the defensiveness and having a new beginning? And the Five of Swords and the Star card are both Aquarius energy, about looking at life from a higher perspective, having hope and faith and belief in yourself and in love, to have that new beginning. And they start to see the truth that some people in our life, they're like, no, I don't want to do that. In order for me to do that, love, I would have to work through these issues of my past. I would have to look at life from a higher perspective. I would have to heal from past pain and heartbreak. And I'd have to be inspired to even want to work through those issues and do that. And I prefer not to. I will go indulge myself in the world, go find a different job, a different relationship, a different friend, and then I don't have to do that. And everybody's got the free will. They don't have to do what they don't want to do. We just need to see the truth. Are you motivated and inspired by this dream, or is your idea of the dream life, dream workplace, dream relationship different than mine? Because I'm feeling kind of overwhelmed in this one. I want this to come into reality in high vibe energy, and you seem, because when we hold these cards up, it's kind of like the Queen of Wands is going that way, like, nope. I got to the gate of maybe thinking I was willing to do that, but I'm not. I'm going to go make my life more about me or the world, or indulging myself, or just finding someone else who is still in the same energy I'm at. I am not in that energy. I don't view life that way. I don't want to be in a more deep, meaningful relationship. I might be more superficial and shallow and materialistic, or more about myself being indulged. And when people are ready to deal with the truth of that, and some people some of those people reconcile themselves, is what the Six of Cups can be, that I can have people in my life that I love and have love for me, but we view life differently. And how they want to keep moving forward and how I want to keep moving forward. Eventually we can be in friendships and relationships with people for a long time. And it gets to be kind of that last wand of what kind of motivates and inspires us. We can have a lot of things in common that we enjoy together, that we're driven and motivated by. But the middle issue here, do we operate more from our self nature, ego nature, immature nature, want to be indulged nature, more about status, ego, image, money, materialism, or are we willing to become more independent of that worldly nature and love ourselves and have hope and faith and belief in our dreams to align with our more hopeful, believing nature? And sometimes that is the last issue to overcome. And some people are really still putting in a lot of work and effort to try to get the people they're in a relationship with to get over that last. But it's a core foundational difference, because the reason for the top rose reading is the Seven of Pentacles, which is the reason why the reading came out. And the Seven of Pentacles is Taurus energy, which has to do at a core foundational level, what is our philosophy of life? And we have to see the truth that what drives and motivates some people at a core foundational level isn't love. It can be fear, it can be codependency, insecurity, money, materialism, status, and image, being in a relationship. It looks like a dream, it looks like I've moved forward, it looks like I'm victorious and successful, and I could have love for you, and I could be attracted to you, but I just don't want to get out of my more emotionally self-protective, defensive nature and authentically do love. Let's create the illusion of love. Don't make me really do love, where I have to let my more hopeful, believing, loving nature out to play. Because I might have some past pain and heartbreak from my past, and I haven't dealt with it, and so I want to keep. Shadowy energy is like the illusion of high vibe energy. But high vibe energy is independent, motivated, and inspired by truth and love and justice and fairness and treating other people the way you like to be treated. And some people could have problems with some of those issues too. And they want to keep moving forward, doing things the way they've done it, because that is their idea of the dream relationship, the dream life. Because they have mental conflict about taking more bold, brave, inspired action in their life and stepping out of their comfort zone. Because if you step out of your comfort zone and you don't keep doing things the way you've always done it, that's like unknown territory. Well, how do I even function in unknown territory? I haven't even been there before. Well, you have to let love and intuition guide you. Oh, I got a problem with that. Shadowy energy can be I like to live more from my mind than my heart. I like to be strategic. I like to be practical. That's unknown territory. So some people, if they were dealing with people in workplaces, friendships, family dynamics, whatever, and they wanted to be more independent and they felt like the people they were in a relationship with were trying to manipulate them, use the love that they had for them to manipulate them, or I know you want this job, I know you want to stay here, but you'd have to put up with me being kind of bossy or controlling or manipulative or egotistical or immature or something. That's what I love, and that's how I want to move forward. And the other people are like, I find it overwhelming. And eventually those people see the truth and they drop the burden, quit defending this, and they go have a new beginning. And we have the Hermit, the Ace of Cups, the Five of Wands, the Three of Cups, and the Eight of Swords. So the Hermit talks about going within to deal with your own fears and insecurities, about being more independent. Well, I have to invest in loving myself, to be bold and brave and confident, to love myself, to move forward, to go get my dream to come into reality. And I have to do this work within myself to work through my own fears and insecurities about why I'd stay in some of these situations that I'm in. And it could be difficult because we could love those situations, love those people. We wanted a dream to come into reality. But if other people were trying to overwhelm us, if other people were, you're supposed to put in all that work and effort to make this dream come into reality. I get to kind of indulge my more immature, worldly, egoic nature. But you keep putting in the work and effort. It's like, well, we're both supposed to put in work and effort. Our Hermit energy is about going within to see the truth of what we weren't seeing the truth of. Why do I stay in situations where I feel overwhelmed? Do I let my more loving nature run my life, that other aspects of my life kind of go in the toilet? It's supposed to be balanced, and we have our worldly nature, we have our emotional nature, we have our creative, inspired nature, we have our mind, our truth, kind of like the four elements that we have to work with, and all four of them are equally important. And when we let one, two, or three of them, like as if something else within us is less important than the other things, it throws our life out of balance. And that's what shadowy, worldly energy can be, that we're kind of tipped out of balance. And it could have just been that we were more caught up in the world because of things that we were told growing up and being part of the world, and we get indoctrinated by our family, by our community, by our state, by our country, by the world at large. You should make your life about these things. And it's like, I keep trying to bring that dream into reality, but and that's when we kind of have the light bulb moment, like, oh my gosh, I have been repeating a pattern, either based on how I grew up, what I was told, was living the dream life, I bought into it, but I maybe wasn't harnessing my fire sign energy of willing to be more independent in the world, love and believe in myself, was always looking to the world and everyone else to love me and validate my worth and value, versus me loving and validating my worth and value and living my truth and being inspired in my fire sign energy to do that. And when I'm not in that energy, there's other people that are in worldly, shadowy energy that want me to keep staying in that energy, because then I'll stay in those jobs, friendships, and relationships or marriages with them. And that's how they view life too. We should keep moving forward like this. We look like shining stars in the world. We look like we have all these things that everybody wants in the world. But in the Five of Swords, I have mental conflict about it because I'm kind of inspired. I've done that, been there, and I'm kind of inspired to change my philosophy of life. Why do we keep repeating these old patterns? Are we living our authentic truth, or are we so caught up in the world and making these things so important to us that it's kind of like we've disregarded our more creative, inspired, hopeful, believing, intuitive, fiery nature of our fire sign energy? And people do this work within themselves to offer themselves a cup of love, to deal with. The Five of Wands talks about our inner conflict, how we're emotionally manipulated in the Three of Cups by our mind and our fears and our insecurities. We make our life so much about the world, and then we try to change other people. The fives can talk about change. You can be a very loving, nurturing people, and there's other people like, you're not coming in here, not expecting me to let love in. I'll be in a relationship with you. I will marry you. I will indulge in a relationship with you. The Lover's card in Gemini energy is about our dualistic nature. And some people are still not sure if they want to do love. I still kind of lean more towards being defensive or in my more worldly nature, making my life about those things. And we can try to move forward in a more mismatched relationship. The truth is love can change people. The fives talk about change, but those people themselves have to do this work within themselves, to offer love to themselves to change. And we can offer people love and encouragement, but until they do this inner work to see the truth of the foundation they operate from and are willing to offer them self-love to deal with their own. The Five of Wands is Leo energy, and see the truth about how their own fear, insecurity, past pain, heartbreak, ego, whatever blocks them from doing love. Until they tear down that wall within themselves, some people see the truth. I can love you, I can wish you peace, but I have offered myself love, and I don't want to keep being in relationships with people who won't let me in, and they won't let their more authentic nature, loving nature out. I can't change other people. The only person I can change is me. And I'm going to offer love to my own inner conflict and my ego that I wanted this dream to come into reality, but my dreams can only come into reality with other people who've seen the truth. So I'm going to offer love to the people who still have a lot of inner conflict, and I'm not going to let them block my path from working together with people from love and people in high vibe Gemini energy of the Eight of Swords who are focused. If there's a maximum of 10, if you're 8 swords up in your head, 10, that means you're focused on 2 cups of love in your heart. I want to go work with the people that in their Gemini energy don't love to indulge themselves in a relationship. I want to be in relationships with people who have worked through, let's say down here, well, they've worked through being kind of deceived and manipulated by their ego, their fear, their insecurity, because the truth sets us free. When we do that work, Virgo energy within all of us does this inner work. If we do the work to see the truth of our own philosophy of life and how it kind of stops us from working through our own fears and insecurities to be free. They're letting the dove fly. It takes work and effort. And some high vibe people, I can offer other people love, but if they choose in their free will to not be open to love, then I wish you peace, love, and joy. I am going from, you know, I can only have a Three of Cups relationship where I'm working together with people from a foundation of love if they have aligned within themselves. From the 1 cup to the 3 cups is the 2 of Cups. If they've learned, what are you aligned with in your 2 of Cups? Are you more aligned with your worldly nature or your hopeful, believing, loving nature? I can only have that type of relationship with people who've done that work within themselves. And if they haven't done that work within themselves, even though it's overwhelming, I need to distance myself from those people because my dream can't come into reality. I don't want to be in a relationship where I'm indulging someone in their poor behavior, in their ego, in their defensiveness. If they're in the relationship more for their ego and their image or money and materialism and status and image, and that's what drives them and that's why they want to stay in it and they want me to stay in it, I want to be in a relationship because of love. I'm leaving. I'm going to reconcile myself with this. I wanted a dream to come into reality, but the truth is we're motivated and inspired by different things. So I'm going to be inspired to do this work within myself, to love myself, to work through my own inner conflict, of letting go of someone. The 2 of Cups that the 5 of Wands kind of represents. We have all these people that we, maybe you could view them as significant people in our life, like soulmates, that come into our life. And we can have a lot in common with them in a lot of ways. There can be love between people. But it's to help us get more and more clear about our truth. My truth is different. My philosophy of life in my Taurus energy is different than their philosophy of life. More shadowy, worldly Taurus energy is more about maybe ego and image and money and materialism, status, being in relationships more for status, ego, image, or codependency. I want to be in relationships with people who are more independent. I have become more independent throughout my life and learned how to love and believe in myself. I want to be in relationships with other people who've done that. I don't want to be like a mother figure to someone, and I don't want someone to be like a mother-parent figure to me. I want to be in relationships with people who are independent, respect other people as individuals. You have your own dreams. You have your own unique talent, skills, and interests that can be different than mine. I respect that. And some people, they're just more about looking like a shining star in the world. They have a lot of mental conflict about maybe being more authentically themselves, harnessing high vibe Leo energy, high vibe fire sign energy. Life is meant to be an adventure to be lived. You're meant to learn these lessons in life, to free yourself from things that manipulate you. Your own fears and insecurities, other people in your life that try to manipulate and control you. People are supposed to be loving and supportive and treat you the way they like to be treated. They're supposed to work with you cooperatively in love and stay focused on truth and love. But some people, they just want to indulge themselves. I want to be in a relationship where someone indulges me in my more immature, bossy, controlling, shadowy, self-centered, egotistical, materialistic, or whatever view of life. And they're looking for someone, who views life the way they do. And you're looking for someone who views life the way you do. And as you're moving forward in life, high vibe Taurus, you really walk the talk. Other people like to present themselves as like these pillars of society, but they don't really walk the talk. It's about indulging themselves, manipulating people, trying to control people for how they benefit, what they can get out of it, not really love. And as you're moving forward in your life, some people, it inspires them to do this work within themselves to overcome their own fears and insecurities to move forward with you in that way. But then their own ego and their own fear and their own insecurities and their own self-limiting beliefs can make them go back and repeat an old pattern. It's like, well, I'm only going to be in relationships with people who are inspired to really walk the talk in a workplace friendship, relationship, or marriage. And anybody can have any illusion about what it means to be in a relationship that they want. It's like, well, I don't want. You can have whatever illusion you want. You're just going to have to go find someone else to manipulate, go indulge in, look like a shining star with. Because I find it kind of superficial and shallow. And I'm going to face and offer love to all these things within myself. And I'm going to walk the talk. And I believe if I keep investing my time, energy, and effort into letting love and intuition and truth guide my actions instead of fear, insecurity, pride, and ego, I believe I'm going to meet the people who are on the same page as me. And there's other people that have moved forward with people, doing that. And we have no guarantee when we're in relationships. When are some people going to kind of get tipped out of balance, or we kind of realize our truth is different, and some of those people had been moving forward and they're going to come back and do this work within themselves. And then they might meet you, We can always have had people who kind of knew more than we knew that moved ahead of us in life. And then some of the people they were in life, they weren't seeing the truth of. And it's like, oh shit, I need to backtrack. And I don't want to be in a relationship either with someone that I have to try to, it's a battle every day to try to get them to work with me cooperatively. And, and I need to do this work. And then you kind of find people who are kind of on the same page as you. What's coming up for people who harness some high vibe Sagittarius energy that they might not see coming? We have a card not showing itself. And the reason it came out is because of the Four of Cups. As we keep doing this work within ourselves, here we have the Three of Cups, staying focused on truth and love. We keep taking that cup of love that the divine is offering us and our higher self is offering us. Keep having hope and faith and belief in your dreams. Keep giving yourself the things that you wish other people would have given you. What's this card? The Nine of Swords. And again, the nines are can be like the start of a completion of a cycle, and the tens are a completion of a cycle. And when we keep doing this work within ourselves, working through all these different thoughts that we have, but I thought this was my truth, and and I love them. It's like, yes, we can love people, but we wish them peace, that they live their life the way they want to live it. And if that's not in alignment with our truth, and they're not acting with character and integrity, their idea of the dream life is different than our idea of the dream life. As we keep offering ourselves that cup of love, we get out of being up in our head about it. We keep offering love to overcome our inner conflict. We keep aligning with our more hopeful, believing, loving nature. And what some people don't know, because some people were being shadowy, they were trying to be manipulative. If you don't do the relationship the way I want and indulge me in my more, or view life this way, I bet you'll be up in your head. I know you love me. I know you want these things of the world that we had or were trying to manifest. What some of those people don't realize as you go through this process, you're no longer up in your head about those people. The Nine of Swords is trying to get to that last truth to complete a cycle. And you offered love, truth, and love to it. You came out with the last, doing this work within yourself gets you that last sword to close out a cycle. And that's what some people still don't realize. You're not up in your head about them anymore. And you're not going to let other people that you meet, that you might want to be in a relationship with, I'm no longer going to be trying to break down people's walls and their defensiveness or whatever. If I'm going to speak my truth in love, I'm going to offer people love. I've changed. I've learned lessons in life. I would like to work together with you. If you're not in that energy, then I wish you peace. I'm not going to keep staying up in a mental prison about it. I need to be in relationships with people who are on the same page as me. And if you're not, am I sad? Yes, but I wish me and you peace and love, and I don't stay up in my head about it. And you're rejecting and letting go of people who are in a mental prison about that last sword of truth that is supposed to be about love. And some people are like, I'm just not willing to go there. That's too scary. I get hurt. If I can be in a relationship with someone, even if I find it overwhelming, even if seems like repeating an old pattern, because I'm in my ego and defensive nature about love and closing out a cycle of my life to have a new beginning, I'm just going to do this. It's like, well, to each their own. I'm moving on, and I'm not going to be up in a mental prison about it. I believe the divine has a plan for my life. And if it's not, you're not on the same page, then I believe God has something else planned for me. I need to keep listening to love and intuition to guide my steps, or I'll drive my life back in the ditch and repeat an old pattern. I'm not willing to do that. I've changed. I'm not the same person I was before. I offer love to stay to myself, to work through my fears and insecurities, to stay balanced within myself. Other people could give in to their fears and their insecurities and getting up in their head and their immature nature, their indulgent nature, want to be in a relationship to feel better, want to be in a relationship to look like they've moved on, want to be in a relationship to have these things of the world. And I think eventually they're kind of going to be heartbroken that they didn't take more inspired action in their life. But it takes taking this time to work through those things in yourself, to be independent and free of it, so you don't keep taking action out of more shadowy action. And I think as you keep moving forward, offering yourself and other people truth and love, I think you're going to meet other people who are going to want to offer you a cup of love. You're not taking action more out of pride and ego and fear and insecurity and codependency and trying to manipulate people. Yeah, I've been in a relationship with people who are like that. I want to be in a relationship with someone like you. But, that's like a cup of love coming from the divine, instead of us thinking, no, I can control this. I'm sure I can get these things. I'm going to take this action from shadowy energy. High vibe people are walking the talk. Having new beginnings that will change their life. Working together with other people focused on truth and love, who offer love to themselves and to others. And those are the people you're going to be in a relationship with. And the people in your life that are in that energy are the people you're going to keep moving forward with. Now, as we're moving forward in relationships, there could be other people who get out of relationships. We can be in relationships, and some of those people communicate the truth and love to some people in their life who could have moved on. It could cause those people some mental conflict. What is the truth about why they're moving forward in life the way they're moving forward? And it causes us to reevaluate, why do I do what I do? Why are the people I'm in relationship with staying in relationship with me? Same way, if a person were to get a new job offer, well, gee, I really thought this job was really great. And then it could make them kind of wonder, do I love this job? Or because a different job didn't work out, even though I'm a loving person, am I in a relationship with someone who I've got to fight with and has a lot of fears and insecurities? It's that process of reevaluation of who is on the same page, who isn't. And in the meantime, the high vibe people are just offering people truth and love and moving on with their life, not chasing people. All I can do is offer truth and love. Other people have to make their own decisions and work through this within themselves. What's coming up for people who might harness a more worldly, shadowy, Sagittarius energy that they don't maybe see coming? So the divine is going to offer the high vibe people a new Ace of Cups. because you did change, because you did operate from a foundation of love, because you did offer love to your fears and insecurities and walk the talk. It's like you're getting your divine inheritance. If we keep not doing that, we keep repeating these old patterns. How can we get our divine inheritance if we keep repeating old patterns and indulging our more immature worldly nature, in a sense, and other people in their more immature worldly nature? It's like, if you're not walking the talk, I wish you peace, but I don't want to be in a relationship with you. I'm going to move on. You do you. And other people have done that to us, and they've moved on. And then if you, just like as you're moving forward in life learning lessons, and then as you move forward, other people in your life will learn lessons. If other people become enlightened to the truth and offer love to people they had inner conflict with, some of those people are going to be in a mental prison about investing in you again. Just like at some future date, if some of the people in your life learn some of these lessons and they offer you truth and love, and the whole thing is to listen to your intuition. Just like you will do that, other people could be doing that with you. Are they telling me the truth? Have they changed? Am I willing to work together with them? And you'll do that at future points in time as people in your life heal and grow and learn lessons in life. And they tell you, I've changed. I would like to be your friend again or work together with you again. And it'll probably kind of get you up in your head, and you'll offer love to the situation, to listen to your intuition about who is telling the truth, who isn't telling the truth, who's trying to emotionally manipulate me, who's trying to tempt me in my lust, my greed, my pride, my ego, my fear, my insecurity. And I want to be in a relationship, whether that's the people I've been in a relationship with or the people who I meet or reconnect with me, who is telling me the truth, who is being authentic, who has grown and healed and matured, and who hasn't. And you'll do that same thing as you move forward in life. What's coming up for the more worldly, shadowy Sagittarius energies? Oh no, that's way too many. 1, 2, or 3 cards is all. The truth. Why? Because of the 2 of Pentacles. Well, the truth is, some people who have some lessons to learn, because again, the truth sets us free. We heal, we grow, we mature, we have more self-awareness, self-insight. I shouldn't be bossy or controlling or immature or think it's supposed to be all about me, or high vibe people have done this work to change and love themselves. And just like you have people in your life that you could view as more immature, prideful, egotistical, some of those people have people in their life that are more immature, prideful, egotistical, right? Eventually, people see the truth. And in high vibe, the 2 of Pentacles, some people pick up their investment in some people. And they see the truth. I'm in a relationship with someone who's repeating kind of ways of being that remind me of relationships I've already been in, and I don't want to repeat that pattern. I kind of did look at life from a higher perspective. I've healed. I don't want to be in that type of relationship dynamic or workplace, whatever. I was inspired to see the truth of that, and I picked up my investment in that, and I moved on. And sometimes we can have learned some lessons. Other people could have learned some lessons, and then they want things to maybe reconnect with some people. But, sometimes when we were in a more mismatched relationship, we realized that there was more things that we weren't seeing the truth of. Like someone has more issues than we realized, and some of those people could think, oh my gosh, the way I've been living my life is overwhelming. Why am I doing this? I should believe in myself. I'm going to go try to have a new beginning with someone that I could have rejected. But it's like, yeah, but you still haven't learned to love yourself. You might have seen the truth about some people in your life and you picked up your investment in those people, but you still have your issues. I'm glad you saw the truth about them. I wish you peace and love. But no, I do not want to work together with you in a relationship anymore. Some people are still juggling. Oh, well, but I cut those people out of my life. Oh, well, I saw through those people. It's like, did you see through all the other things that manipulate you? I don't think so. You still juggle. You still haven't picked a path and building a foundation and making decisions in your life based on truth and love. You just want to come back and indulge in a relationship. You're the same person you were before. Just because you quit hanging out with someone or whatever doesn't mean I want to be in a relationship with you again. And for the people that are currently in kind of those mismatched relationships, they're always going to have some high vibe people in their life that harness high vibe to a pentacles that are going to pick their investment up in them because they see the truth that these people don't want to pick a path. I want the best of both worlds. I want to look like I'm this just and fair and stable and grounded, loving person, and being in a relationship with you makes me look like I'm that type of person because you are. But then I'm really kind of more about myself or my ego or my image and want to be indulged. I don't want to pick a path. And the other people are more balanced and they see the truth of it. And if they want their dream to come into reality, even though it's heartbreaking, I'm going to go get in relationships with people who I think are more on the same page because these people, some of them can't decide what they want to do. And so they're going to probably repeat an old pattern because they still can't decide. I don't know if I want to do love, if I want to make it more about me, if I'm more about ego and image or money or indulgence, and they'll probably go juggle someone else. And the people who are maybe willing to stay in a relationship with them are other people who are still juggling. In our free will, we either choose love and want to make decisions in our life. That is the driving factor, is love and intuition. Or we're more about the world and ourself. Or then there's the people in the middle who, well, I haven't decided yet. I still like both. I go hang out with these people, they're great. Then I get out of a relationship with them to go hang out with these people to meet my needs with that and my ego and my image or whatever. But then they're not very loving or I get tired of them because they're kind of manipulative or whatever. So then I want to go back to these people, but they never pick a path themselves. Some people have definitely picked a path. This is how I'm going to keep living my life. I want to work with people who are more caught up in the worldly dream, because so am I. Other people who might be more willing to indulge me, or I'll indulge them to look like a shining star. Other people are doing love. And then there's the people that it's like, well, I don't really want to do love. I like love, but I also want these things of the world. And then they juggle. If you're not in a relationship because of love, why are you in it? And the whole thing is, it's an unstable foundation because if it isn't love, well, if someone comes around with more money, more status, more ego, more image, I'll go leave to go get in a relationship with them. If I think that person's more overwhelmed, more in their ego, their competitive energy, that they would more indulge me in a relationship, I would get my way more often with them, or I don't think they'll ever love and believe in themselves, well, I'll go get in a relationship with them. I think they're more of a sure bet. Some people want to be in relationships. They're worldly focused, self-indulgent, egotistical, looking to get in a relationship with someone who they think is overwhelmed. Perfect. Can I get you to get in a relationship with me? It'll look like I've moved on. It'll look like we've got justice in the world, that we have what other people have. But it's not based on truth and love. And oh, by the way, I'm not inspired by love. But if you're overwhelmed and you're willing to move forward with me in a relationship, perfect. So you'll kind of indulge me in my ego. And if I'm kind of bossy and controlling and manipulative, perfect. You're just the kind of person I was looking for. And all of us could have gotten in jobs and relationships or even friendships with people when we were in that energy. And then some people, though, had that hopeful, believing spirit in love. And they thought the people they were in relationship were that way. And after they put in a lot of work and effort trying to bring a dream into reality, they saw the truth. I thought we were motivated and inspired by love, but I guess we both weren't. And I've seen the truth of it. And I'm going to offer myself love to change. The truth sets some people free. Other people, because they juggle the truth, that it's supposed to be about love. Well, no, I kind of think it's supposed to be more about me or more about these other things. And I also might try to, shadowy energy is like trying to manipulate people, shadowy Leo energy, try to confuse people about the truth. But eventually, you can't hide the truth from all the people all the time. Some people thought in their ego that they, instead of growing and healing and maturing themselves and walking the talk in a loving relationship, they could have thought they could invest in someone who, for some reason, they thought was overwhelmed, and that person, and maybe viewed that person as more on the same page as them. Some of the people they went to go get in a relationship with are either more balanced than they realized, or were more mature, are like them and juggle. And it's like, well, what do you have? Well, how much money do you have? Well, what do you look like? Blah, blah. And there's someone else over there. And then that person is more, you have to be willing to compromise in relationships. Everybody can have their way of viewing life and how they like to get along with people. And if someone's like, well, I don't want to do any inner work to change. Well, if there's someone else they can go get in a relationship with that they think will more indulge them. Some shadowy people are overwhelmed because they thought their dreams were going to come into reality with someone, and that person was either more prideful, more defensive, more materialistic, more immature than them, and those people moved on to go get in a relationship with someone else. So now some of these people are trying to manipulate another person in order to make it look like they have these certain things in the world, or to have a certain status or image. And the people who've seen the truth of those type of people, they see that these people are probably never going to change, that they keep living more from their mind than their heart, that they have a lot of fears or insecurities or things that drive them. And love freed them to move on, and we'll just watch some of these people keep repeating these old patterns, while other people learned some lessons and healed and grew and matured themselves. So there you go, Sagittarius. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.